Hello dear students. So today I'll be discussing about protein modifications. So till now I have discussed how exactly a membrane protein is going to get synthesized and get inserted into the membrane through co-translational insertion process. Now we'll see how what all different kind of modifications or changes happens to this particular nascent polypeptide chain during the so that it can become a completely functional structure. So first change which is going to take place is the glycosylation of the protein. So if the protein is going to be a glycoprotein, so then there will be addition of sugar units will take place. It happens within the endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi complex, and also simultaneously there will be formation of disulfide linkages within the endoplasmic reticulum carried out by the disulfide isomerase enzyme, and in order to link uh, two different subunits are to form an intra or interchain disulfide bonds. Followed by that there will be proper folding and assembly of multiple subunits, which is going to again happens within the endoplasmic reticulum. Later the proteolytic cleavage is going to be seen to happen in endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, even in some secretory vesicles also. The proteolytic cleavage is going to take place in order to give out the particularly the final product or the functional protein molecule. So you can see here this is the uh, protein which is a glycosylated protein molecule having a linking of the glucose units, sorry, the sugar units. Okay, and so basically how this process of glycosylation is going to take place. So that is the blue color one which you are seeing is the translocan, through which when the polypeptide chain is going to get moved into the endoplasmic reticulum. So there will be an enzyme called as there will be addition of sugar which is going to take place to this particular nascent polypeptide chain, and this particular addition of sugars into the nascent polypeptide chain is going to begin within the endoplasmic reticulum, and further it gets completed within the Golgi complex. So glycosylation, there are it is nothing but the addition of sugar units to the nascent polypeptide chain by forming a glycosidic linkage. So this addition of glucose units is going to take place at different positions within the polypeptide chain. So there are different types. Majorly we always come across with two types, that is N glycosylation, N linked glycosylation and O linked glycosylation, wherein in N linked glycosylation addition of the glycan means it's already a constructed sugar tree. That means multiple number of sugars, all these glycosyl units, they'll be attached to one another, and this complete tree, an oligosaccharide tree, is going to get transferred onto the amino group of aspargine amino acid within the means on the nascent polypeptide chain within the endoplasmic reticulum. Volin glycosylation, it actually the process is little different than N-linked glycosylation. Here stepwise addition of sugar units, monosaccharides, is going to take place. It happens and here addition is going to happen to the serine or threonine amino acids within the nascent polypeptide chain. So this particular Volin glycosylation can take place in endoplasmic reticulum, in Golgi complex, even in cytoplasm, and even in the nucleus also. Then we come across with a few other types of glycosylations, that is glypiation, that is the glycan units are going to be added uh, phospholipids and a protein, so together it is going to link. So that is the glypiation, which further I am going to discuss in detail later. There is C-link glycosylation, where mannose is going to be attached to the indole link of tryptophan, and there is phosphoglycosylation, that is the glycan units are going to be attached to the serine via phosphodiester bond. So these are few varieties of glycosylations which we are going to generally see in the protein modifications. So this is all you can see here in what are those particular glycations or Wolin glycosylation and link glycosylation and all. So in glycation, the protein is going to be linked with the phospholipids through the glycosyl moiety. So glycosylation, so N-linked or O-linked are the major type of glycosylations. In O-linked glycosylation, there will be O-linked glycosidic bond between the amino acid and the sugar unit, and it happens through the serine or threonine amino acid, which carries the OH group in their R group. In case of N-linked, it happens through aspargine amino acid, so which is going to have an amino group to which the addition of the sugar unit is going to take place to form a N-glycosidic bond. So generally the N-acetyl glucosamine and N-acetyl galactosamine, they are the first sugar units which get attached to the peptide bond in O-linked and N-linked glycosylation. So here if you come to the N-linked glycosylation, sorry, it is N-linked here, it's mentioned as just glycosylation. So in N-linked glycosylation, the complex carbohydrate are going to get assembled in a stepwise manner on a long chain alcohol or a lipid called as dolichol phosphate. So this dolichol phosphate is going to be added by successive glycosyl transferases. They adds up the sugar units and construct a sugar tree on it. So this particular alcohol, it's a very long one. You can see down there the structure of it, carrying more number of hydrophobic a long hydrophobic chain, and addition of sugar units will take place to this particular phosphate to form a pyrophosphate link. And here addition is going to take place such a way that, so it is going to be having a 14 unit sugar tree consisting of 2 NACs, 5 mannoses and 4 mannoses, then there will be 3 glucoses, like that. So finally, once the primary sugar tree is constructed onto the dolichol phosphate, then this dolichol phosphate, this all construction is going to happen within the cytoplasmic side of the endoplasmic reticulum, and then this dolichol phosphate flips into the luminal side of the endoplasmic reticulum. So you can see this is the sugar tree which I was talking about. So having N-acetyl glucosamine mannoses, and then there will be glucose units. So this is found to be in case of yeast. Actually they have studied this glycosylation very well, and they have found there will be 13 to 14 core mannose units are going to be there. In few cases even they have found 200 to 300 mannoses also. So that is seen in case of hyperglycosylations. So once this particular sugar tree is constructed onto the dolichol pyrophosphate, then it will get transferred. Here you can make out in this particular one how the whole process will take place. So you can see first initially to the dolichol there will be addition of the what you call it as phosphate group by the CTP, and later from the different different glycosyl transferases like N-acetyl glycosamine transferase enzyme, UDP N-acetyl glycosamine transferase is going to transfer to N-acetyl glucosamines to form a pyrophosphate linkage with dolichol, and then followed by that there will be mannose transferase which transfers mannoses and construct a sugar tree of 2 N-acetyl glucosamine and 5 dolichols. Then there will be flipping, so wherein this particular dolichol is going to flip by covering this particular sugar units within its hydrophobic core. It transfers them back into the luminal side of the endoplasmic reticulum, where further addition of mannoses and glucoses will take place to complete the construction of sugar tree. Once the sugar trees get completed, there that sugar tree is going to consisting of 2 N-acetyl glucosamine, 9 mannoses and 3 glucosas. Later what will happen is, so here you can make out this particular dolichol pyrophosphate carrying the sugar tree is in the first step by the enzyme dolichol by the glycosyl transferase enzyme. Okay, so what will happen is that this whole dolichol pyrophosphate sugar tree, where the sugar tree completely will get transferred into the growing nascent polypeptide chain, where it come across with the uh, sequence containing the aspargine amino acids. So there is a specific sequence for it. So when it finds this aspargine amino acid, it transfers that particular sugar tree onto the uh, nascent polypeptide chain, the growing nascent polypeptide chain. Later there will be processing of this particular sugar tree will takes place by different glycosyl transferases enzymes and glycosylases enzymes. So the enzymes which even cleaves the glycosyl units, they are going to cut those particular sugar tree, they are going to process that particular sugar tree, and finally we are going to come across with a sugar tree consisting of 8 mannoses and 2 N-acetyl glucosamines. So all these processing will happen with the help of specific glycosyl transferases and glycosylases which are going to be involved in the process. So followed by that, what is going to happen is this particular sorry here this particular sugar tree having the protein molecule, either it can be a membrane bound protein or a free protein, is going to get vesicularized. There will be formation of vesicles here at the endoplasmic reticulum, so at the end of the fourth step, and that vesicle is going to get transported into the cis into the Golgi complex. So in the Golgi complex there are different components of Golgi as there. There is cis Golgi, there is medial Golgi, there is trans Golgi. So which you will I will discuss about the structures of each of these Golgi complex separately. I will send that particular video to you. So here what will happen in the cis Golgi is that vesicle, you can see here the transport vesicle from the endoplasmic reticulum, which is carrying the particular protein with the processed sugar tree, will get into this Golgi complex. In here in the what do you call it as cis Golgi, there will be trimming of mannose residues, followed by that there will be addition of glucosamines in the medial Golgi. So between these Golgi complex again there will be vesicularization and fusion of that vesicle in the means to the target Golgi sacs, and there again vesicularization, again fusion with the target Golgi sacs. Like that there will be movement of these vesicles in between these Golgi sacs, which we also called as cisternae, so that the processing of this particular sugar tree is going to take place. And here this all processing is going to be done by the glycosylases and glycosyl transferases, which are very specific for their particular substrate, as well as the bonds which they are going to involve in the formation of it. So here glucosamine is going to be added in case of the medial Golgi. Further you can see in the trans Golgi there will be addition of galactose units and N-acetyl neuramic acids are going to be added, so that final processing of the sugar tree is going to be completed. Always we can see that all the glycosylated protein molecule are glycoproteins. In particularly in case of most of eukaryotes, they are going to get terminally glycosylated with N-acetyl neuramic acid or the sialic acid. So the absence of it makes them to become an antigenic kind of thing. So now once the complete processing of the sugar tree is done, so then that particular what you call it as the polypeptide chain or the and I can say functional glycoprotein molecule now can exit in the form of vesicle and can gets through the trans-Golgi network and goes through the secretory pathways. So here in this particular process all these addition of sugar is going to happen in the form of nucleotide sugars, either it will be the form of monophosphates or diphosphates or even sometimes it can be the triphosphates. So you can see here this is the UDP N-acetyl glucosamine, so which is actually how a particular substrate is going to be. I am showing here the sugar substrate, it is going to be uridine diphosphate N-acetyl glucosamine, UDP N-acetyl glucosamine. So the UDP nucleotide is going to be in the diphosphate manner is going to be attached to the N-acetyl glucosamine through an ester linkage, which is going to broke down during the process of glycosylation, and the energy which is required for the formation of glycosyl bonds is provided by this particular hydrolysis process. So this is the overall picture which is going to take place in the endoplasmic reticulum. So you can see from the dolichol how the changes are going to take place from like here at the bottom side you can see the 12th one. So how it's going to maintain, and then it flips at the third and then gets into the lumen of endoplasmic reticulum, and the fifth step there will be construction further continues, and then it is going to get transferred there you can see at the 10th step it's going the sugar tree get transferred onto the aspargine X serine or threonine, that is the sequence which is called the conserved sequence. Whenever this sequence of nucleotide amino acids are present within the polypeptide chain, only at that aspargine the transfer of the this sugar tree will takes place. So this is the further how the processing will takes place. So you can see in the cis Golgi the removal of mannose units are going to take place by the enzyme mannosidases, that is the glycosidases the one, and followed by that addition of glucosamine N-acetyl glucosamine takes place by N-acetyl glucosamine transferase. So again there will mannosidases 2 which is going to again further remove the mannoses there. So similarly you can see the addition of fucose is going to happen by fucosyl transferase, and even the galactosyl transferase is also going to involved in the addition of galactoses. So that is all about N-acetyl N glycosylations. So I am trying to explain these things in very brief. I'll stop here. I'll continue with the O-link glycosylation in the next slides.